like we mentioned, we're getting into like the start of smartphone season, kind of the start of our busy season.
Yeah.
So we've seen quite a few phones get released already, and we're about to see the rest of them, to the point where we've probably seen a rumor about everyone, right? Like we've seen a Pixel rumors. We've seen Pixel 7 pretty much. So like we're seeing iPhone rumors. So I thought it'd be fun. You and I did we guessed the smartphone awards, the first episode of this year. I brought those guesses up. I think let's just look at them really quick to remind ourselves, and then let's see if we change our mind at all, and you can make some predictions with us now from what we've seen and what we're about to see, and maybe see if we get any right. We'll check them again in December.
See how right we think we are.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Real quick, and if you guys want to hop in and make any comments about any of these guesses here, I'll just go through them real quick though.
Okay.
So for best big phone, Marques guessed the S22 Ultra. I guessed the ROG Phone 6. For small phone, we both picked the Z Flip. For camera, we both picked the iPhone. Budget value, we both picked the Zenfone 9.
Wow.
Best battery.
Wow. Sorry. Go
Zenfone. Okay. Best battery, iPhone Pro Max. For you, I said the Legion Duo 3 just because I made a bad joke that it would have 3 charging cables. Which I heard that back and I was like, that used to be funny. That was pretty cool. Design, I had the Find X4. You had the Pixel 7.
Oh.
Most improved, we both
4. It ended up being a 5. Because
they
don't do 4.
I would say that's our fault for
that's
not guessing.
on you.
That's on me. That's
picked
on
a
me.
non-existent phone.
All right.
Most improved, we both picked the Pixel 7 Pro. Okay, this bust of the year. You picked the S21 FE, and I forgot. No,
S21
22.
No, it's right. That's exactly what I did.
You're gonna win.
You might win that.
You're probably gonna win.
Because it was out by the time that we recorded that episode, actually, because it came out right in the beginning of the year.
How much of a downfall would that be from of the year
from MVP to bust of the year?
There is no like least improved award, but that was
yeah. I picked the Razer 3, which doesn't look like it's coming out this year, and then MVP, you picked S7 Pro. I picked
Pixel 7 Pro.
Pixel 7 Pro, sorry, and I picked the S22 Plus.
Wow,
which seems like
boring.
a terrible guess. But yeah, that is a very boring
a lot
guess.
Of thoughts about this.
Yeah.
You want to start from the top then?
Yeah. Do you want to go like over? You want to pick what we are thinking are coming up?
Pick apart your thoughts. Is that what
you can pick apart thoughts? You can pick what you think is going to come up now that what we see. But
dissect it.
Best big phone. I mean,
so I had S22 Ultra. Andrew had ROG Phone 6. I think we now have both of those phones are out. Between those, I mean, they're pretty close. The cameras, you give the edge to Samsung. Yeah. The performance, you give the edge to the 165 hertz ROG phone.
I listened and I specifically picked the ROG 6 thinking like cameras are the last thing they really need to improve, and they would. And they improved, but they didn't do it like I was expecting.
It's a step down in camera, but it's also the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. They always wait to have the higher end chip in this. So the S22 Ultra still has the 8 Gen 1, right?
I forgot.
So that I think also leans ROG.
I feel like there's going to be more big phones coming out this year too.
Oh, definitely. We're still going to get the big iPhone, the big Fold.
The big regular iPhone could really be a good big phone because it's going to be a cheaper version, but big and has a lot of benefits from it. So that's something we were not thinking would happen.
Yeah.
I think that'll be really interesting.
For small, you guys both picked the Z Flip, but I think it's going to be the Zenfone 9.
I think, was that the thing in the beginning of this episode? You said there's something we'll all agree on?
I think I'll say now that I think Zenfone 9 is the best small phone, and it's not particularly close right now. We could get a great... No, because we're not getting a mini iPhone, and we have the Z Flip, and we see what it is already. Mm-hmm. I think it's a clear best small phone of the year.
So, yeah.
For sure.
Zenfone 9.
Camera is probably going to swap to the Xiaomi 12 Ultra.
12S Ultra?
12S Ultra. Right?
Interesting. You know, well, we'll see what the iPhone comes out with. The thing about the camera award, and people always like to dissect my camera award, is it is a versatility award too, because you take photos and videos. And when I looked at photos from the 12S, the ceiling of the best photos it could take was clearly higher than any other smartphone I've ever used. But as far as consistency, it would also constantly churn out photos that were worse than the iPhone. So if you're ping-ponging back and forth between best and worst, it's kind of a preference thing. Like, do you pick the consistent A, or do you pick the one that's an A plus sometimes and clearly has a better, higher ceiling, but sometimes is a B plus? And then on video time, like iPhone is so consistent. It's so consistently an A to an A plus as far as smartphone cameras.
Really
you know, ProRes already like 4K. I wish it shot 8K, but even without shooting 8K, it's great videos. And so the Xiaomi also shoots really good videos, but it's not as consistent. So I'm just like, it's hard to not pick the iPhone as the favorite for an incoming video or camera winner, just based on what I've seen from Apple. They could screw it up, but what are the odds?
That Mi 12S Ultra though.
What about the
some
Pixel
of those
7?
Photos were pretty fire.
They
Pixel
were.
7 could be if they freaking fix the processing. I will beat the drum on this until the day I freaking die because they got a big old sensor and they're still processing it like it's a tiny one.
They did their magic for like 5 years in a row with that small sensor.
Yeah.
And now that we give them much more capable hardware, they're sort of just leaning back on what they've been doing with the smaller
Pixel 6
hardware.
Pro photos look almost exactly the same as Pixel 6a photos. And I feel like that's just a big problem. They've depth of field.
Almost reminds me of how we always talk about how Toyota started making like EVs and batteries, and now they're so far behind in the EV game. It feels like that's what Pixel's doing.
Pixel
Like they were
camera.
so good for so long, and they just like are sticking with what they're doing, and now
Pixel's
we're
the Prius,
behind.
the Prius of smartphone cameras.
Don't you guys love this Sony sensor that we've used for 5 years?
Yes, in your budget phone,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
We have best value and budget also as Zenfone 9. This phone came out at $699.
More expensive.
Can it be a budget value phone at that price? That's
The comment section says no.
comments. Comment section. If I gave it that award, I could immediately see the entire comment section blowing up and saying $699 cannot be a good best budget award. I think it's a value award.
I think we tried to make that award both ends of that. It's like budget or bang for your buck.
Bang for your buck.
Like,
pound for pound.
It does have the best processor out there and it has a really nice 120 hertz display.
Very
pretty
fast.
Cool cameras. The gimbal camera.
Excellent battery.
Small, really good battery. I mean, yeah, value-wise, I could see it inching into there, but I definitely know that people will disagree with if
that phone was
budget.
$599, I'd hand it to them right now.
Yeah.
But $699,
it's $100 more than it was last year.
Right.
So there is that.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get some other phones that are like very extra budget. You know, we have the 6A, we have the SE, we have phones that are hanging around $300, $400, $500 that are always going to be options there. So I don't know if it's a clear winner yet. I don't think we can say we have a winner for best budget, but I do love the Zenfone 9 at the price anyway. It is what it is. It's kind of funny that we saw into the future for the Zenfone.
Yeah.
This is a January prediction. That's kind of sick.
This is the first week in January.
I'm kind of happy with that
They've
prediction.
been pretty solid devices.
I think that's what we figured.
Though.
It's like
every year they surprise us. We're like, oh wow, Asus is good. Oh wait, we said the same thing last year.
They in the bracket every year. I think they go to at least quarters, possibly semis.
Yes, iPhone has never won in the first round. Zenfone has never lost in the first round.
No, I think iPhone won first round.
Finally in the last one? Okay. But the Zenfone always goes deep. Always.
It's always gone really well.
Okay. So we did have most improved. We both picked Pixel 7 Pro, I think is interesting. We have yet to technically hold and use that phone, but we kind of see what's coming, which is similar to the last phone.
The reason though it's most improved is because how bad the experience was on the 6 Pro. So like that's what they need to work on. It's hard to tell that from the design things we're seeing.
I mean,
now.
the fit and finish would be nice too. Because
it would be.
It did sort of feel like they just glued parts together with the 6 Pro.
Do you know what I really liked about the 6A is that the lip was not as protruded.
It's because of the smaller sensor.
I liked that. I wish somehow they could get that into it.
Yeah, they
but
can't physically do it. They can't physically do it.
Here's another way of phrasing that. Is there something else you would pick as most improved right now over the Pixel 7 or 7 Pro?
Like, I'm like Zenfone, but then the 8 was actually pretty good too.
The 8 was good, but like the 9 was, that's
Really
the first
good.
thing I thought of as well.
Yeah,
The Zenfone is like, it really killed it this year.
Obviously, the Legion Duo too.
Only 2 charging cables.
In terms of, if you want to take one step, we didn't talk about design. Zenfone could possibly be in design. And I think the biggest thing taking away from it is how messed up the paint gets on the back.
I can't give it. Yeah, it gets pretty beat up.
I think that's a big issue. You
I
had that
think
for
a
like
week.
4 days and it looked like you had it for 4 years.
Dude, 2 weeks into using the phone, it looked like I had it for literally like a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's very easily scuffed.
A friend of mine had the black one, and all the logos and like Asus lettering were gone after 4 days. They literally wiped off
4
his
days.
finger oil.
Dude, it's going to look crazy in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's cool.
I like
If it
the
doesn't
design.
fall apart. It's a patina. Yeah.
I would like to keep an eye on in a year, like what people using the Zen phone every day, what those phones look like.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
cool.
maybe they'll put a case on it. Like I use my phone out of a case. Yes, I'm a psycho. I get it. But hey, some people are going to do that. What's that phone going to look like in a year?
Yeah.
I want to know.
Maybe you can just scrub it off with a toothbrush.
That's actually, I didn't try cleaning it. I mean, I got the microfiber. I tried like getting the scuff off of it or whatever, but maybe there's some crazy hack out there.
Do you remember that? Well, there's a Pixel that everyone said got messed up on the back. And then everyone's like, oh no, you can just scrub it off with the toothbrush and it's fine.
And it worked.
It worked, but it was also like the dumbest thing to tell somebody.
It was kind of insane. Like, you have an extra toothbrush, right?
It's always
sacrificed it for your phone.
Your Pixel toothbrush.
I would.
Man. Well, design, I think we're both going to find our answers are incorrect there. Find X4 doesn't exist because they skipped straight to the X5. Sorry, Andrew.
The X5 is a really pretty phone.
The X5 is a nice phone. We've got one.
I think I like the X3 better though.
Really?
I do too.
The look of it, yeah. I think I like the X3 better.
All right.
But I picked Pixel 7, and I almost guarantee that doesn't win the design award. So it is
What
what
about
it
Oppo
is.
Find N?
I like that.
I like that design a lot.
I think there's a lot of design award candidates, as there usually are.
Yeah.
It's sort of that's one of the more subjective awards.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the Zenfone design, but I can't give it a design award.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Bust of the year. Yeah, you picked the Razr 3. That's a kind of a funny one because it's not coming to the US, and it could be a super bust. Also, the OnePlus, what is it?
10T.
Kind of flopped.
When I wrote this out, I was like, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to say 10T.
10T is a pretty popular bust pick. I'm pretty sure that would get a lot of votes if we put it to fan vote.
Yeah.
A lot of disappointment in that phone. S21 FE being my pick for bust of the year.
That's a good pick.
It's a pretty good
It's a really good pick.
It's a pretty good pick.
Big brain pick right there.
Yeah.
And then MVP. My MVP, wow, I was really high on Pixels. Okay, Pixel 7 Pro was my MVP pick, and S22 Plus was your MVP pick. Do you remember your logic behind S22 Plus as MVP? Sort of an all-around champ at a good price.
I want to say it was similar to that and being worried about what was going to happen to the Ultra with the impending Note disappearing and like not being exactly sure what was going to happen with it. And if they tried to do like too much, similar to like, remember when S20 Ultra first came out and that was terrible because they tried to do a million things with it. Then they refined it. Then I was worried I was going to go back on the route of doing a million things with it by adding S Pen and everything. And it didn't really. It's definitely not that great. Like, it's not anything incredible. You could argue the S22 Plus has a better design than the S22 Ultra, and therefore is the better of those.
I think I'll say two things. One, I think it's probably going to go to an 8 Plus Gen 1 phone because of how good that chip is. But the other thing I'm going to say is, and this is never going to happen, but if it did, it would be great if Apple put a 120 hertz ProMotion display in the big cheap iPhone. That could be an MVP.
That could
in
be
the
really cool.
14 Max or whatever it ends up being.
And
called.
what pricing is on that?
Yeah,
will be very interesting. Yeah,
but they're probably not doing that, which sucks.
Yeah, if it's not a Pro phone, that they're not going to put ProMotion. I think they're keeping all the Pro names to the Pro devices.
What if they just do nice
that
motion
means that
and do 90 hertz?
Nice motion, pretty good motion. I feel like Apple's going to keep 60 hertz on the cheaper iPhones until
brutal. It's brutal because cheaper is still $700. It's for a 60 hertz phone.
Yeah,
that's insane.
The budget iPhone.
The budget.
Best
just
budget.
Get the SE at that point. Actually, just get the SE. Yeah, just get the SE at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, I have to say, I went to a Pink Floyd tribute band concert the other night, and the amount of iPhone 8s and iPhone SEs I saw was unreal because everyone was over 65.
That's so funny.
And it was wild.
I feel like a couple years ago, it was the 6 that was everywhere, which makes sense. It's sort of a graduation of a flow of phones when people upgrade. And the 6 and 6S are the best-selling iPhones ever, I think. So those people finally upgraded. We got the iPhone 10, big upgrade cycle with the OLED iPhones. There's a lot of 8s out there.
Yeah. I think it was just a testament to people that wanted to keep the home button.
Yeah.
And because
fair point.
the lady that was sitting next to me was like 80 years old, and I saw her texting, and she had like her texting size on max, and everything was on max.
Oh, that's
and,
such a
It's like one line
love
max.
and my mom does this too,
My
where
mom
like
does
every
this.
letter she would type would be like,
tick, 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 one letter at a time.
just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love seeing the iPhone 8 with the massive font size.
Yeah.
And
Font
that's
size.
such a
It's
great,
such a
that's such a
vibe.
grandma vibe. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think we'll leave it at that. We'll continue to see what phones come out this year. But like we said, it's the beginning of busy season.
Yeah.
August, that's kind of like you hit the calendar and you go, all right,
yeah.
this is it. We're going to get a bunch of stuff.
I can feel it this week because we're working on 2 long form episodes at the same time, and we haven't had as much time to work on them. We're being rushed around to all these other things.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah. Thanks for watching this absolutely stacked, packed clip on the Waveform podcast, podcast. We have a lot more for you in the future, but until then, stay packed in your room watching Waveform every single week because it's going to be packed with great content every single week. And that's why we're the Waveform packed cast.
You have to like for every pact he just said.
Was that? I don't. It was
The only thing is that you didn't mention Samsung Unpacked at all.
Did I really not?
No, he didn't say it once.
And that's totally fine.
I was like, all right, really? Still going. I mean, we could just use that too.